Hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl, Kamie Crawford. And today we have who I believe in my head is my little sister, Clarke Peoples. She's a content creator, you know her from TikTok, the whole nine. Clarke, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Oh
I'm
my
so
goodness.
happy to see you in real life.
I know.
And we ran into each other by like happenstance
Yeah.
at the Retrofet show
For 3 seconds.
for 3 seconds.
And
But when I saw you, I was like, it's
yeah,
Clarke.
I was so late too, and you looked stunning. I was seeing your pictures,
God,
like,
thank you.
I don't even want to get in the middle of this, and I was like, I feel like the show is probably starting, so I ran, but I was like, I'm so excited for. Is today Wednesday? Thursday?
Girl, I
Wednesday.
don't know where we are. I don't know what time it is. I know I'm in New York and I know I'm with you.
Period. And I'm so happy about it.
That's all I could muster today. You have been absolutely killing it. I found you on TikTok. I think it was when you were talking about like your 3-hour walks of the day,
Okay.
which was like how many years ago now?
I think I might have posted that video not last summer, but the summer before, maybe.
But is that what you went viral for or was it something else?
No, so I went viral first, I guess it was 2021. I posted a vlog that was a day in my life, and it was, like, my first ever TikTok video, and that day, I think I was out of school, and I hadn't started my summer internship yet, so I was just like, "Oh, doing groceries, whatever," and then at the end, I went on a date.
Aha.
Oh my god, and I'm not kidding, within, like, 30 minutes, like, the video was blowing up. It had millions of views by the end of the weekend, and I was just like, oh my goodness, and the reason why I even ended up, like, continuing making content is because I felt like I had to explain, like, "You guys, I'm not an escort." They're like, "Oh, she's a prostitute, like, she's this," and I was like, "Whoa." I said, "Pause," and I was starting a legal
Yeah.
internship that, like, in 2 days after that, so I was like, "We gotta clear this up," so I did another video that went viral talking about, like, college scholarships, then one more showing what I actually do on a work day, and the rest is history.
That is insane. And I think I mean, I wanna get into this because the discourse around your dating life and, like,
Unreal.
merely existing as a woman that meets men, like, in real life and, like, goes on real dates with men, the way that people have made these crazy assumptions and, like, have these full-on stitches talking about your dating life and, like, what you do with your body is absolutely insane to
It's
me.
unreal.
It has to be the craziest experience, like, for you to witness because you're
Yeah.
the one who's actually living it and, like, you know what is actually happening.
Yeah, I think that was, like, the craziest thing about starting social media anyways, like, I've always been pretty private, like, before doing TikTok, I barely had Instagram, like, I graduated high school in 2019, I think I got an
Ugh,
Instagram I think I got an Instagram, like,
girl!
right when I graduated, because all I did before that was, like, post about the clubs I was doing at school, like, I've never really been big into social media or anything like that,
Yeah,
and so I don't know, when that started happening, I'm like, "These people don't even know me, and they're talking about me," but then also people are, like, cheering me on. I'm like, "This is so
right.
odd." There was so much from all sides. It was crazy.
Meanwhile, you are a graduate from Columbia, like, literally on your Ivy League shit. Like, you're not just some everyday girl that like, you're just not what they were trying to paint you out to be.
Yeah, yeah, and, yeah, I think that's what's the most difficult is just knowing who I am, and then my first, like, I don't know, my entry into the world and, like, people knowing
Mhm.
me outside of my school and, like, Atlanta, wherever, Maryland is like, "Oh, she's this and she's that and she's that," and I'm like, "That could not be further from the truth," and there's nothing wrong with any of those things or those labels if
Right.
that's actually what you have chosen to do, but I'm like, "You guys, this is not I'm in college, like, I
Yes.
work around lawyers, I was doing a legal internship," I'm like, "I cannot have you guys saying these things about me on the internet."
And that's the thing because TikTok is so fucking crazy. People will find you. I thought I was crazy, which I am. But, like, I thought that I was a private investigator, but the people on TikTok will find your internship, send them your video, be like,
Girl.
"She does X, Y, and Z. Do you really want her?" Blah, 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 and, like, try to ruin your life.
No, they're so literally, so all my dating videos, of course, they're like I never show people's faces. I think I've shown 2 guys because they like one guy was my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
whatever," and then the other guy was just fine with it, fine.
Yeah.
All the other men, though, you only see their hand maybe, and I remember one of the first times this is when I was like, "I cannot share half the shit that I share," and I wasn't even sharing that much,
Yeah.
but I went on a date, this guy, like, they saw his hand, they went to the people that I was following on Instagram to see, like, okay, she follows a lot of, like, black girls or, like, whatever, so those are not the people she's going on dates with, but all the guys they saw that have, like, a similar complexion, they went, like, to their Instagrams, took screenshots, went and found their, like, LinkedIn accounts with their names, and they were posting them on blog sites like, "Do we think this is blank Bay or this person?" And I was like, "You guys, I have gone out of my way to maintain their privacy, like, give
Yes.
you guys these little just talk about dating, take you out with me on a date, like, little morsels of fun, entertaining stuff, and you guys are taking it to the most extreme degrees." Like, it's psychotic,
And
actually.
this is why I don't post my man's face. And people
You
are always
can't.
asking, "You can't because you people are fucking nuts. You're
And I think just, like,
crazy."
wanna ruin things too, like, even
Yeah.
if they don't wanna, like, get you caught up in anything, it's like, I don't even wanna hear your opinion about it. If you don't like the way he looks or you don't like whatever, he's not your man.
Right. And here's my thing. You can do all the investigating that you wanna do. You don't have to share it on the internet, and you don't have to,
Exactly.
like, bring other people in to, like, help you. Like, this is not a
I
fucking
agree.
brainstorming session. Like,
Yeah,
you can do this in your group chat on your own with your friends. But,
exactly.
like, why do people feel the need to post about it on Reddit? Like, are you crazy?
Oh my god, the Reddits, yeah. It's just I think all of it is everything we do now is a lot of it is for attention. It's like
Yeah.
when you post on social media, if you use a certain person's name, if you're like, "Oh, I found Kamie's boyfriend," or "I found Clark's this," you're gonna get likes, you're gonna get views
Yeah.
from it, and we just, like, eat it up. So,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
okay.
And I mean, I guess back to, like, the stitches and the discourse and the people making up all of these things. The amount of people that I've seen who have made stitches to your videos, the women, the Black women that I've seen make stitches to your videos, trying to, I don't know, figure you out, tear you down. It's very weird. It's giving fangirl, but it's also giving, like, obsession, but it's also giving, like, you need a restraining order against these people. There are a lot of grown women. Like, you and I have, like, a 10-year you're 22.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm 31.
Okay.
So, almost a 10-year age gap.
Right.
And the women that I'm seeing, like, these are women my age, if not older, that are making these videos about a young woman. I'm just like, "Are you upset that it wasn't you? Like, are you mad that you didn't do this shit when you were 22?" What do you even think about that when you see these videos? Because you give a good fucking read. Let me tell you. What's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
What's your big 3?
I don't know. People always ask me that.
No,
I have
bitch, you got
no
Virgo in
clue.
there. You got
Really?
Virgo in there. You
After this,
have
I'm gonna
to.
ask my best friend. She's, like, the only person that knows what time I was born. I think she, like, texted my dad and asked him, like, for my time to get the information.
You have Virgo or Scorpio in there.
Really?
The way that you annihilate these people with a sophisticated read needs to be
I
discussed.
think it's like when I was in high school, I always did mock trial, and I love a good argument, and
Oh,
also
yes, you were
yeah.
studying law.
Yes.
So, yes, okay,
So, I'm like,
okay,
I
so
love a
yes.
good argument, I love a good debate, and especially if, like, if it's not true, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, and people are always like, "You don't have to explain yourself to anyone." I'm not even explaining myself, I'm just
yes,
I want to do this, like, let me
yes.
have my fun,
Yes,
okay?
exactly.
But I don't know, I think it's really the first few times it happened, because I swear since the first day I started making videos, people have been doing stitches or going to Twitter and writing dissertations about stuff.
Yeah.
I was taken aback and I was like, "This is so crazy," and I remember at first, I was like, "I'm just not gonna even post anymore," but I think my dad was,
Mhm.
like, going through my comments, and he said something along the lines of, like, "You have people who are looking up to you, they're, like, excited about your journey at college and, learning about your scholarships, whatever, so, like, keep posting, someone's getting something from it, and, like, block out the rest of the noise."
Yeah.
And then I think, just, like, as I continued doing it, one, the people that I would always see talk about me, I'm like, "You're not in a better position than I am, so
Mhm.
I don't know why I would take any criticism from you, and you also don't even know who I am." And I feel
Period.
like my whole life I've been very sure of myself. I think just, like, around school and stuff, I've always been very academically driven and, like, derived a lot of
Mm.
my confidence from, like, academic accomplishments, whatever, and so when people talk about me and they say things, even if, like, some things are unequivocally just false or not true, like, I'm not an escort, I'm not a sugar baby, whatever, but other things that maybe it's just someone's opinion of me, I'm like, "That's not my opinion of myself, and I
Mhm.
know myself better than any random person on the internet, no one around me feels this way about me, so, like, I couldn't care less what you have to say about it," and so I talk my little shit in my videos, and then I leave it, and I just don't even bother people, so I'm like, I feel like this is not, like, karma that I need to have,
Yeah.
like, this is just you guys inventing shit, and I'm not playing into it, like,
Yes, you're
it's very safe.
projecting. You're projecting, and it's
Always.
so clear. It's so clear, and
Yeah.
it's very sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, and I think especially when it comes to the dating stuff, when I hear people talking about, like, my dating choices and how, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, this is just so" I'm like, we as women, I feel like already have everyone else is telling us what the hell we can do, what we can't do, what we should be doing, and it's like for you to sit here and talk about me simply going on dates, like,
Yeah.
literally just going I've never advocated for anything bad for young women or anything. I'm just like, "I went on a date with this guy today," or like, "I went on 3 dates this week with 3 different guys." And I'm like, "Oh
Right.
my god, this is terrible." People are like, "You're using these men." I'm using these men for
Using them?
what? I mean, it's ridiculous.
But
It's
also,
unreal.
let's not pretend like these men don't wanna be used. They do. Thank
Right.
you.
Or like they're not using us sometimes, and I'm like,
Right.
"What?"
Exactly, exactly. It's mutually beneficial. I'm sure that
Right.
they are very happy to be able to take you out on a date.
Exactly.
I think that a lot of people don't understand that because maybe their dating lives are not as fruitful. I mean, you have a very fruitful dating experience because most of the girls, I have 3 sisters in New York City, and they're like, "All the men here
Really?
suck." Like, they can't they dating, like, it's just not it doesn't really exist in a lot of spaces, I feel like, for a
Yeah.
lot of people. Just the options are limited from what I'm hearing.
No, they definitely are. I feel like it's interesting because people always ask me, like, how do I meet certain quality of guys? And I don't know that I'm meeting, like, great quality guys. I think in New York, people just have a little bit more money than they do in other
Mm,
places, and so
mhm.
people see me like, "Oh, you went to this restaurant or this was, like, an expensive date, like, you must be with high quality guys." I'm like, "No, they just work in finance and, like, have the money to pay for a nice dinner." I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I definitely have had, like I've met some really great guys and had really good dating experiences, and guess, like, what I just wish other people understood, and like you said, I think it's just a difference in, like, geographic places, what people are used to with
Mhm.
dating. It's like, you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. You don't have to, like, date every guy just because he likes you and wants to date you. Like, have some more autonomy in it. Like, it's okay. And
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to sleep with everyone you go on a date with. I think that's another misconception is like, I sleep with every guy I go on a date with. My girl, if I slept with every man I went on a date with, a date to me is like almost just meeting someone at a grocery store. It's like,
Yes.
"Hey,
Yes.
do you wanna grab dinner tonight?" Sure. If I've met guys before on the street and they're like, "Let's just go get dinner right now." Well, fuck it, I'm not doing anything, like, let's go.
You have such a free spirit.
It's just
I'm
so
terrified of dating. I
Really?
mean, I have a boyfriend now, and I'm basically getting married, so, like, I don't have to worry about it anymore,
Yeah.
but the idea of going on a date and, like, sitting across from someone that I don't know for a fact that I like scares the shit out of me. What is your advice for that?
I don't know. Well, one, I think dating is scary from, like, a safety standpoint. Like, I
Right,
think about it a
yeah.
lot because I love true crime stuff too.
I love true crime.
Oh my goodness.
Love true
Or
crime.
even, like, thinking about catfish and stuff, like, people are liars. I just saw a
Yes.
TikTok today, I feel like you commented on it, but a woman was talking about someone I guess it was her husband who was,
Oh,
like, a
yes!
pathological liar.
Yes!
And I was like
And lied about everything, and he said that he would be on the phone, he would try to act like he was this boss
yeah,
guy, but really
it
he
was
wasn't that,
no,
which, like, there's nothing wrong with his actual job, but, like,
but lying
he
about it.
was lying through his teeth consistently, said that they had bought a house together, like, we're getting a house and, like, had the paperwork, but there was no house, there was no realtor, there was no
Yeah. Was,
nothing.
like, on the phone,
Yes.
fake on the phone with friends when they were in the house, like,
Yes.
having entire conversations like,
Yeah.
"Hey, babe," like,
Richard
Brad
said,
said,
"What's
"Hey."
up?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, tell Richard he's so crazy,
And
da,
he
da, da,
was
da."
talking to himself.
He was talking to himself.
And I think about that so much because you truly never know who you're going on a date with.
You can be catfished by people you know in real life.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. It's a real thing. And so when you're going on these dates, like, how do you decipher, I guess? Because, like, of course, everybody wants to have I don't know if you're in your Sex and the City era yet. Have you watched it?
So I've only seen the movies and everyone tells me I need to get
That's
into
okay.
it.
It is a coming of age New York City girl thing that comes up, like, when you turn, like, 24, 25.
Yeah.
You're gonna wanna binge the whole thing. Call me
Okay.
when you do that
I
because
will. I've
it's
seen a few
going to happen.
episodes, yeah.
It's going to happen. But, like, in Sex and the City, Carrie will meet a guy on the street. He wants to take her on a date. And all the I just wanna point out, Sex and the City, everybody loves Sex and the City. Why everybody don't love Clarke going on a bunch of dates? I don't get it.
Right. It's
I
right.
don't get it.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense. But back to that, she would meet somebody and, like, you go on the date, you find out if they're crazy later on, I guess, but, like, I think now people want to be able to screen for that a little bit more. So, like,
Yeah.
how do you do you Google them? Do you, like, get their LinkedIn? Like, how do you know that this person is
Yes.
sane enough for you to sit down with them
Love this
at
question.
Nobu, you know?
Yeah. I was just talking about this on I do, like, these Instagram story Q&As, and someone asked, like, "How do you vet the men you go out with?"
Mhm.
People gave me different suggestions after I shared this, but I always use Spy Dialer. So
Oh,
spydialer.com,
you're putting me on to something.
it's free. I guess well, you can use this for just anyone actually, but you just need someone's phone number. You
Okay.
put it in and you get, like, their full name, where the phone number is registered to, and, like, their voicemail greeting. which I don't really know what that's super useful for, but I have used it before just to hear a guy's voice before going out with him, which is interesting.
Oh,
It just like calls them. I think if you test it, you'll see a number flash for 1 second and it ends the call, but like they get the it's I don't know how they do it.
Spy dialer.
Yeah. So
That's great.
yeah.
That's really good because I mean I got all the apps that Catfish uses, so I can look up anybody. But for all the listeners,
I'm like telling you something like,
but I've never heard of that.
Y'all.
I've never heard of that. Like, and it's free?
It's free. So the other
great.
ones, I feel like there's so many, like you put it in and they ask you all these questions. Like you need to put your email in. No, you just type it in. You get the information. And so I always just take the first and last name. If I met them on a dating app, I like confirm it's the same name. If not, I'm like, well, why did you use Brian if your name is really Jack? You know what I mean?
Because your middle name is probably not Brian.
Right?
Jack Bryan?
Right.
In New York City?
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe in Nashville. I don't know about that, Jack.
But then you go and maybe it's John Bryan. You know, sometimes Johns go by Jack or something like that.
I don't get that.
A thing?
Or like a Richards that go by Dick or George, it's Bob. I don't know what the fuck you're talking
about.
Yeah,
right.
What do I call you? What does your mom call you?
Exactly.
That's what I ask people.
But I just go to what LinkedIn calls you. So then, like you said, I Google it and I'm like, okay, what's your LinkedIn? I see, okay, is this your job? What school did you go to? What school did you say you went to? Like, what school did you actually go to? I've actually caught guys up like in little things like that before. And then, yeah, once you have that information, like obviously send that to a friend or like your mom, whatever, when you go on a date, share your location.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, even if you do all those things, it's literally all a gamble. Like you go out, you could meet someone at a bar and think that you know them. Like a friend of mine met someone out. We were actually at a bar together, met this guy. They dated for months. After months of dating, he tells her, well, yeah, I've actually been married for 14 years.
Oh.
And this man says, when she's like, what the heck? He goes, well, you never asked me.
Jail.
Immediately.
Electric chair.
Immediately.
You
never asked me.
No.
Well, maybe because you pursued me, asked me on dates. Like they had elaborate dates. And he's like, yeah, well, I just kind of want to make things work with my wife now. And she's like, your wife? What?
Sir.
And you never, and she knew his name, where he worked, like everything. And people just lie.
American prison system. Immediately.
Immediately.
What? But this is, I actually do talk about this a lot. Like you have to rephrase the questions for a lot of people because like, do you have a girlfriend is not enough anymore. You have to ask them, is there a girl out there who thinks that they are your girlfriend? Is there a boy out there that thinks that they are your boyfriend? Is there somebody that calls you babe?
Right.
Weekly, daily. You have to get into the nitty gritty. Do you have kids? Are there any kids that you are the father of genetically?
Right.
Do you share DNA with anyone out there other than your siblings and your parents? You have to ask.
Yeah.
You have to get, that's fucking crazy. What did she do?
She's just like, well, she called me immediately at the table and then was like, I can't. And she said to me, you know, I think I should tell his wife. Like she had his full name, where he worked, everything, easily found her. And I was like, I don't think you should do that, only because, and this is why I hate that so many people put innocent others like into these situations. The wife sometimes is going to get mad at you. She's not going to get mad at the husband.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to come for you.
Slut.
Yeah.
You young slut.
Exactly.
I'm sure, was he older? Yeah. If he was married for 14 years.
Yeah, he was older. And so I'm like, no. I said, I would not reach out to her.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know how that's going to go. And the thing that, I don't know, I just always am like, I hate when people do this, is what if she found out about her before like he said all this and they ended up, you know, going their separate ways? She could have been coming after my friend, like, and now you've got this love triangle that you didn't even know you were a part of.
Right.
And you were not a willing participant in, because this guy just wants everyone.
People need to go to prison. We need to have more people in prison, actually. I was all for prison reform until this conversation.
It's yeah.
Now I'm going backwards.
Too much.
What the fuck? Okay, so I guess that then leads me to, I mean, you've been very public about the fact that you tend to date on the older side.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that? I mean, you're obviously, like, you're very mature. If I didn't know that you were 22, I wouldn't think that you were 22, because mentally you're just in a different place. You just feel like obviously you can have a better conversation with an older guy than you can with a 22-year-old idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that to me it's like basic math, but like
Yeah.
explain yourself.
Right. So I would say I date like of all ages. I've dated guys when I was in college. I dated guys who also went to my school. Like I've
Mhm.
dated guys who went to other schools in the city. Guys that I've dated, like gotten kind of closest to have been like 25, whatever. Golf Bay was one that was like,
Golf Bay.
he's 45. So that was like,
Oh.
and I think
Okay.
that when I met him, which I met him 2 years ago, and I like made a video about that, whatever, like we spent his birthday together, and people were like, they looked at the candles on the cake, they're like, that's 70 fucking candles on that damn cake.
You're like,
And I
actually
was
it's
like,
45?
yeah, I don't know. I think like that kind of throws people for a loop. But like you said, I feel like sometimes I just have one, better conversation with them, but two, thinking about being a content creator and like the lifestyle that I have now as a creator, which I started making money from content creation as a sophomore in college.
Mm.
Now it's my full-time job. Like I'm able to support myself and live a really nice life with it. I feel like sometimes I feel a bit disconnected from people who are younger, especially when I was in college, who like their parents pay their rent. They don't like work for the stuff that they have.
Yeah.
And then also it's like I don't really want to downgrade my lifestyle to date someone. I
Yeah.
like worked really hard to have what
Yeah.
I have now. And so I don't know, I feel like an older guy, they have the funds. The conversation is usually there, but also with that, they have their own shit with them the same way that like
Right.
younger guys do. I think the biggest thing for me though is I'm not looking for a relationship. I would not be actively going out with guys who are 45 years old if I'm like trying to meet my life partner. For me in college especially, I really wanted something that was more impermanent, and I felt like
Mm.
whenever I dated someone younger, like a med school bae or plain bae, I'm like throwing out all these names now.
Yes. Lawyer
Any of
Bay.
these guys, yeah, they like were all in their 20s and
Yeah.
like wanted to be in a relationship. And at that time, I didn't know if I was going to do content full time after school, if I wanted to go to law school right after, if I was going to go to California to go to law school, like whatever. And I didn't want to feel like I was tied to any place because of a man. Like I'd worked
Mm.
my whole life
Mhm.
to get to the point I was at, and I'm like, I don't want my love for you to keep me anywhere. I just kind of want to hang out and just vibe. And I feel like
Yeah.
they always kind of wanted to make it a little bit more serious.
Mhm.
And
The
so dating older.
20-year-olds.
Yeah, but because I think
Really?
they just like it's probably the understand like we would maybe date and like get married or something. With
Yeah.
someone who's 45, he doesn't think that we're gonna date for 5 years and get married when he's 50 and I'm
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
true.
so
That's
it just
true.
ended up working out a little bit better. And like you said, I think the conversation was also just more stimulating or is more stimulating for me. I
Yeah.
think the last time I went out with someone who was like 20, like maybe 22 or something when I was like 21. At one point in the conversation, he was like, "Yeah, so what do you want to talk about next?" I said, "I want to talk about the check. Let's get it." Because we have to I didn't say that, but in my head, I'm thinking like, "You
Let's talk
can't
about the
ask
bill.
that." Like,
What do you wanna talk about next?
I'm like, "See, and I can't deal with the awkward pauses." I also feel like sometimes younger guys get nervous on dates, and I think with an older guy, I can
Yeah.
never detect like the nervousness, which puts me at ease because I don't feel like I have to like carry the whole conversation and
Yeah.
yeah. So there
Yeah.
are a lot of things.
No,
I
there
feel
I
like
mean, that makes sense. I feel like 45 is,
45 is a lot. No.
it's
45
a
is
little old.
it's a little old.
It's a little old. But I do get wanting to skew older. Like, I could see you with, like, a 30-year-old.
Well, most of the guys I do date are like in their 30s. I would say like Golf Bay
Mhm.
was kind of like I was like way out there.
Yeah. Yeah. He was an
45. I'm trying to think the
anomaly.
week that I met him, like the other guys I had also shown the dates. Like there was one video that went really viral and I was like, come with me on 4 dates in 4 days or something. And like
Yeah.
one of the guys was in his 30s, the other guy was in his 20s, Golf Bay was 45, and the other guy was like 39 or something. So it just listen.
Yeah.
I'm just out here.
Just
I just
living
go.
your fucking life. And I think that that's amazing. And I love it. So obviously, this is a relationship advice podcast and people want advice. And there are a lot of people your age. I say your age. I feel I was 22 once, Clarke.
It's so crazy that when I like meet people in this industry, I never feel like we're like if you telling me that we were 10 years, I'm like, I would
know.
never think that.
I know. But I was 22. I was really cute. I still am.
You are.
Anyway, thank you. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First one. This is from a millennial.
Okay.
They said, I'm a millennial looking to be in a serious relationship, but for some reason, I keep getting married or taking men in my DMs. I don't know why I'm attracting the wrong men. Help.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's crazy because the last like 4 times I went to a bar, married men like tried to approach
With
me.
rings on?
well, one of them was trying to give me his phone number, and when he opened up his phone, his screensaver was a Christmas card picture with his child, his, like, baby. He was a younger guy, a baby, and his wife.
And you're like, who's that?
I said, "Is that your wife?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, but I just wanted to give you." The other times, though, the guy actually he did have a ring on. One of the other guys. The other guy didn't have a ring on, but he, like, was a sports team owner or something, so I looked him up right after he gave me his name and the team, and, of course, the bottom of his bio was like,
Wife.
"Resides here with wife, whatever, and, like, 2
Stop.
kids." So, trust me, it's not what she's attracting, like,
Uh-huh.
definitely not. I think men can just be trash, and that's just
That
how
is
it happens.
so I cannot imagine being the wife at home and my man is like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out with the boys on Sunday for a brewski."
Yeah.
And you're out here trying to get with bitches? Are you fucking crazy?
It's
And you haven't
insane.
changed a light bulb in this house in fucking years?
Right.
And you haven't cooked a fucking meal?
It's nuts.
Murder.
But my thing is I feel like they have to have enough of, like, they shoot their shot enough that it probably works out, and they're like, "Oh, well, you know, works out 3 times out of 10, so I'll keep doing it," where I'm
Yeah.
like, other women, I just wish we would just, like we can't let people just keep getting away with shit.
You can't. And I
Can't do
feel
it.
like there are some women who will be approached by a married man and feel like, "Oh, like he's married and he wants me." Bitch, you need to go to fucking therapy.
Right? Oh my
There's
god.
nothing about that is attractive to me whatsoever. And I feel
Yeah.
like when you're very secure with yourself, you're not out here like feeling gassed because a married
Yeah.
man is trying to talk to you.
Literally, the time that the guy came up to me with the ring, this was probably, I don't know, in the last 2 months, he was like, "Yeah, well, I just had to say something to you. You're just so beautiful." Like, and I sat here and he just keeps going on, and "You're just so stunning," and da 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 da. And me and my wife like that. I said, "I'm not just that." So I'm like, first of all, I'm beautiful. I've got a fat.
Yeah.
I know
Yes.
this. Like, I know this.
Yes.
But you are not. I am not so arrogant to believe this like shit that you're trying
Yeah.
to sell me to get me to go home. Like, you think I'm gonna say to myself, "Oh my god, this fucking balding guy just thinks I'm so gorgeous." Like, "Oh, I have to go sleep with him now." Like, "Oh,
Yes.
he just thinks I'm so beautiful."
Yeah.
No, that's some shit that you would like someone to say to you because, like
Yes.
you said, you're not that secure in yourself, whatever. And I think a lot of men think that we are like as arrogant or narcissistic as they are sometimes. That's not doing anything for me.
Mm-mm. It doesn't do a
Nothing.
damn thing
And
for
you're
me,
just
honey.
a piece of shit. And he's like, and me and my wife, like, we're on the. You guys are not on the rocks, okay? Y'all kissed goodbye before you got on that plane and came to New York for whatever business trip it is that you're here
Yeah.
for. Like, you guys are fine. You're just a piece of shit. He's
Yeah.
like, I feel like you're judging me. I am.
Yeah. Like, you know what?
Like,
As
I
a matter
am.
of fact, I am.
Yeah, but no, they think that gassing you up is gonna no.
No.
But I'm back to the DMs at hand, I guess.
Yeah.
I never use Instagram DMs for like dates.
Mm.
But I also feel like if you are looking to get married, I guess, which is I'm so far, I feel like, from that stage in my life, my advice always is like pouring into yourself and the things you like to do, and people and things that like are attracted to that and are like-minded will come. So
Yeah.
instead of sitting in your Instagram DMs like responding to these guys, go out. If you like pottery, go to like, I don't know, a pottery event or something. There will be other people there who are interested in that. Last night went to like a singles bowling thing on Valentine's Day with some friends.
Fun.
I met so many new people there. There were guys there, girls there, we exchanged information. Like, go out and meet people. I feel like the dating apps sometimes can be a little bit like, they can be disheartening and discouraging.
They're very scary looking.
Yeah.
My sisters have shown me the options. In
Terrible.
New York. I'm petrified that this is the state of the world.
Yeah.
This cannot be the state of our union. Something must change.
No, it has to. Like, we need actually legislation around this. Like, it's too much.
Are you on any apps?
I am. I'm on Raya, Hinge, and Bumble.
Okay.
But I don't actively, I feel like I haven't actively used them in a while. I also haven't been on a date in like 2 months, maybe.
I saw you say that you cleared the roster, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was because you did like it was Mr. Clean, I
Yeah.
think. Yes. And it was such a good ad that I didn't even realize it was an ad, but I was like, oh my God, did she really clean up the roster or is it just for the ad?
No, I did. So technically, like DC Bay, Connecticut Bay are like forever on the roster just because I've known them for so many years at this point, but we don't live in the same place, so we're not going on dates. We just talk on the phone and like catch up from time to time. And then I guess Aussie Lawyer Bay is like still on the roster, but he's in Australia until the end of the month.
Aussie Lawyer Bay, I'd never even heard about him.
Yeah, but
Wow.
Golf Bay, we like broke things off. I wouldn't say broke up, but, like,
Mhm.
we stopped talking 3 months ago, I think. Now, like, it was
Damn.
November, and so once that happened, I was just like, "Oh," the holidays came around, and I was like, "I'm over men right now," so I
Yeah.
literally haven't gone out since
Good for you.
that. Yeah.
Good for you. I love that. Okay, this next one. Hey, Kamie, love you and the pod. Thanks, boo. I'm having a really hard time putting myself out there. I'm 22, I've never had a boyfriend, and I have not attempted to date anyone in the last 3 years. I truly don't feel like guys around my age really try or put in the effort, so I've kind of given up on trying to date. I really feel lonely though, and like an oddball because most of my friends have someone or have experienced relationships. What could I or should I change to change things for myself?
Okay, I think the first thing is the comparison. I was just thinking about this yesterday. Someone told me that they were, like, at peace with being single, but how do you cope with, like, being alone on Valentine's Day?
Mm,
I was like, "Well, if you're at peace with being single, then you would've been fine on February 13th, and then you should've been fine on February 14th, but it's now that you're seeing people posting their relationship that you're like, 'Well, I'm so alone,' and
yeah.
you can't think that way because I feel like in life, comparing yourself to, like, what someone else has or a relationship they have, how much money they have, you're always gonna be miserable.
Mhm.
And so I think here, especially if you're 22, I'm always a proponent of like, again, pouring into yourself, like whether it's academics or a job or your friends, whatever, and you will meet so many people just doing that. And I think also, even if you don't meet people directly doing that, maybe join a dating app or like go out to a bar or like a restaurant and meet people. I think you'll just start to develop so much self confidence and really just feel content with your own life that you won't feel such a like lack
Yeah.
because you don't have the relationship,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
that's 1000% it. I mean, listen, I part of the reason why I don't post my relationship on Instagram or like every single moment that we have is because Instagram is not fucking real. And a lot of times you see these people posting their, significant other for their birthday or Valentine's Day or whatever the fuck. They're fucking cheating or the other person's cheating. They're miserable. They're on the fucking brink. Like things are not always what they seem. Some people it is. And some of the love that people share is like very much true and accurate and genuine. But there are a lot of people who post their relationships because they are not what they try to make them seem to be.
Right.
And I think that we get caught up in that a lot. Like, and just because people are in relationships doesn't mean they're happy in relationships. There's a
Yeah.
difference. So we have to also pay attention to that. But trying to change yourself to be in a relationship, I don't think that that's ever the space that you want to be in. I think if
Yeah.
there are things you want to change or things you want to improve on for yourself as a person, you will start attracting more people or the people that you want to attract, like we were talking about. But you don't need to change yourself for no boy.
Never. Oh my
Ugh.
god.
Oh my God. Can you
Ew.
imagine? Ew. Hi, Cammy. Hopefully, this message finds you well. I just wanted to start off by saying I love your podcast so much. Thank you. In my 24 years of living, I have never been in an actual relationship. It's always a hookup. Lately, I've been feeling like it's time for me to settle down, but at the same time, I'm scared to settle down because looking at some people, they are not faithful to their partner at all, what we were just talking about. So I'm scared that I'll fall into that kind of trap. What kind of advice would you give for a girl that is new to relationships to look out for in a partner? Somebody else had asked about like red flags as well. So
Ew.
what are the red flags that you see a lot of times early on before you even get to the date?
Yeah, I think, like, consideration is a big one. I've made a couple of videos about this. I actually had a tweet of mine went viral. It was about this guy who wanted me to meet him in it was about an hour away from where I was in New York.
I
Like
think I saw this video
yeah, he wanted me to meet him there, and it was literally on the same block, the place, and I was like,
from
"You
his
s"
place.
Yeah,
This is what I have told my friends about this before.
yeah,
Like, if they want you to meet up with them on the same block as their fucking home, they think they're gonna hit at the end of the date,
yeah.
or they just wanna be able to get home faster.
Yeah, and don't care anything about, like, you, where he wasn't like, "Okay, well, I'll send you a car," or something, like, "If you wanna send me a car, fine, you care about my safety getting back home at the end of the night,
Yeah.
cool," but he's like, "No," I said, "Well, didn't you see on my profile that I live, like, an hour away?" He's like, "Yeah, I did see that, I just figured you probably don't come to this neighborhood much," and I was like, "Oh." Then he was like, yeah, so are you"
No.
whatever. And basically,
Block.
I was just like, this is so inconsiderate. He just wants me to be like 2 seconds from his place to
Yeah.
sleep with him, whatever. And even if that wasn't the case, you just don't care about my safety, whatever, because I would be traveling back an hour away, like changing subway lines and stuff whenever we finished with drinks if you weren't trying to
Right.
get me back to your place. And I just don't want to be with someone like that. That tweet got, I want to say 16 million views. It was on the Today Show. The New York Post did an article, BuzzFeed did an article, The Guardian did an article. It was everywhere. And people were eating my ass alive. They were like, she's such like, she should have just suggested somewhere halfway. I'm like, did you guys miss the part where he said he knew where I lived and was not trying to meet halfway? He wanted to meet at this bar on his block. And what's so crazy is once it blew up so much, his ex-girlfriend came on TikTok and was like, he asked me on this exact same date. That's how I recognize the guy because I didn't use his name or his picture or anything. She's like, asked me on the same date. He was so inconsiderate. He broke up with me on my birthday before he broke up with me when I told him I got fired from my job. Like, he treated me like shit throughout our entire relationship, and I ignored the red flags at the beginning. And
The
I said,
tea
y'all,
scalding. That's why I fucking love TikTok.
it's
for this
great.
very reason.
As someone who was like, did you see the stitch? I'm like, what stitch? And I saw her video and I was like,
Queen.
listen.
I love that.
And I told you guys, but it's like stuff like that we think of as just like little things at the beginning, like, okay, well, I'll just suggest a place halfway, whatever. It's a first date. Honestly, if you ever have a bad feeling about anything early on, if it's something that is like a deal breaker to you and you don't feel like it's one of those things that you want to even have a conversation about, because there are some things that you just want your partner to instinctively like want to do for you, like be considerate of your time or like nice to you, whatever. So if you have to ask a man to be nice or like basic things that are non-negotiables, you have to drop him immediately. And I feel like sometimes it's hard because you get so caught up in like, oh, well, the potential of what this could be.
No,
like,
babe.
yeah, you
No.
gotta drop it.
The potential is exactly what you're seeing.
Exactly.
Which is that what you're seeing right now is what you're going to see when you have your first child and you have to ask him to make the fucking bottle.
No, I need that tattooed on my forehead. The potential is what you're seeing, right?
Yes.
That's literally what it is.
Yes. And it's bullshit. So get rid of it. Consideration. I say this all the time. And for me, generosity. So
Yeah.
like paying for the first date. I've had full on arguments with men about paying for the first date because a lot of men don't think that they have to. And like if we're talking in like the very most basic heteronormative sense and patriarchal fucking point of view, which is exactly what we're experiencing in this lifetime still, unfortunately, y'all make more.
Right.
And it costs you way less to get ready.
Yeah.
So pay for this fucking drink.
Exactly.
Don't be an idiot. Like, why would you want to mess up a potential relationship for a bill? Like,
Yeah.
you would pay for your boys to have a round, but like, they're like, but those are my friends. If you want to do the whole bros before hoes shit, then cool. But you're
Yeah.
going to be fucking circle jerking with them every single Sunday
Literally.
for the rest of your life. That's up to you.
No, the generosity thing is big too, because I always
Yeah.
tell women as well, they'll ask like, how do you meet all these rich guys? And I'm like, you don't, first of all, a lot of the guys I go out with are not like quote unquote rich. They just, again, just New York is, when you go on a date, I can also record things to make it seem like it's, you know, whatever, very romanticized.
Mhm.
But also, you don't want someone who just has things because that doesn't mean anything for you. Like you
Nope.
said, generosity is like, that can be with their time, with their money, with their attention, with their love. And whether they have nothing or they have everything, like that generosity is going to continue, like be the through line in your relationship. A rich guy, I've dated so many rich guys who, girl, they'll buy you dinner because they want to eat dinner too.
Yeah.
And after that, I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
And then guys who literally would spend, like, I remember a guy I dated who was in college too, got an allowance or something from his internship, and he would literally spend the entire allowance every week on like our weekly date. And I found this out and I was like, oh my God, I don't even want you to do that. He's like, no, it's okay. His family was super rich. He's like, you know, I'm just living at home now. Like, it's fine. He was going to med school. He's like, it's okay. I just really enjoy our time together. And like, I want to do nice things for you.
Mhm.
That is a guy you would rather be with than someone who's like a millionaire but wouldn't spend a dime on you.
They're cheap,
Like,
honey. They
yeah.
are cheap. Let me tell you something. They're
Yeah.
cheap. They won't. Those men, like whenever girls are like, oh, I just want to be a wag or I just want to be like the wife of a billionaire, they put you on an allowance. And it might be a little bit more than what you have now, but like they are dictating how much you spend.
Yeah.
So like be careful what you wish for.
Exactly.
You want a generous man, not just a rich man.
Right.
Clarke, I just want to applaud your mother because I am sure that she has to, like, this came from somewhere. This is not like, you are just so poised and beautiful
Yeah.
and like full of wisdom. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you. You're gonna make me cry.
No, that's the Pisces. That's the Pisces in you. But like, your mom is that girl.
She's my bestie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She really is. And I love your content together, like your family. You just like, and you hang on to that. Like you really hold on to what is true and authentic for you. And I'm glad you don't let these old bitches my age on the internet try to make you feel any type of way about living your best life.
Yeah. I mean, you
Live
have
your
one life
fucking
to live,
life.
and yeah, this feels right for me, and I'm enjoying it, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Good for you. Tell everyone where they could find you.
Yeah, so I'm on TikTok. My name is Clarke with 4 A's, so CLAAARKE. And then my Instagram is Clarke Peoples, and I have a YouTube that's also Clarke Peoples, but I don't know how frequently I post there, but I post to TikTok a lot, and I go live all the time too.
Yes. Oh my God, I love your lives too. Ugh, thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us.
for having
Thank you
me.
for sprinkling your 22-year-old wisdom from the mouths of babes. We could all learn something. I need to send this to all my friends.
This was a very good conversation.
Very good conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.